4 people were arrested in connection with what is being called Spokane County's first case of human trafficking. Now, one of those suspects talked to us from jail. We'll have that exclusive interview in just a moment. But first, the victim told detectives that she was held at this home in Spokane Valley for a year and forced to smoke meth and perform sex acts. It's a story you saw first only on KXOY.
And KXOY4's Colleen O'Brien has been following this story all day long. She brings us the latest from the Spokane County Jail, where all 4 suspects are being held. Colleen?
That's right. 3 of the 4 suspects made their first appearance. All are being held on charges ranging from kidnapping to human trafficking. And we went out to the Spokane Valley house where this victim says she was being held and forced to have sex against her will. Neighbors of that say that they know there's been criminal activity at that house for years, but they never imagined it would be something like this. The only way Spokane County Deputy Craig Chamberlain says they know about this is thanks to a victim brave enough to come forward.
Everything that our victim said was going to be in the residence, basically everything was corroborated.
According to court documents obtained by KXOY, the young woman was held for a year at this house along Nora. It's visible from I-90. She says she was held by a man named Spade and 4 others, and she made her escape on Tuesday. Lawrence Johnson, Christopher Foster, Chanel Haddon, and Dina Telez made their first appearances. Detectives don't know where Spade, the so-called ringleader, is.
That very well could evolve as this investigation continues. There could be other players that we don't know about right now, but could come up during the investigation.
The victim says she's seen other women in the basement of the home on Nora that have also been held against their will. During yesterday's raid, though, detectives didn't find the girls, but everything else the victim describes is there.
She was very specific when speaking with our detectives prior to having a search warrant signed for the residence. And basically all the facts that she gave about the residence, all the things that we'd find in there, our investigators did locate.
The victim says she was driven by Foster, Haddon, and Telez to 6 different motels around Spokane Valley. There, she was forced to smoke meth and perform sex acts for money. Sexual encounters set up on websites like Backpage.com, where Spokane women are advertised using illicit pictures. If she didn't comply with her captors, she says she was beaten and burned. She was also forced to bleach her private parts daily.
And there's also possibly other victims that our detectives are looking for because they need to question them. Obviously, most importantly, they need to make sure that they're safe.
It's the first case of human trafficking in Spokane County, and it's just the tip of the iceberg.
This is a very unique, complicated investigation, so there's still a lot more work that has to be done within this investigation.
It really is just the tip of the iceberg. Deputy Chamberlain, he couldn't emphasize that enough, that they have a lot to do still. They believe there are more victims out there and possibly more arrests could be made in this case. They just don't know yet because it's so early on in the investigation. So if you know anything about this human trafficking case, you're asked to contact authorities. Reporting live from the Spokane County Jail, Colleen O'Brien, KXOY4 HD News.
Well, thank you for that, Colleen. And the victim in the case said that she feared for her life, especially when her ex-boyfriend Marcus Schur was killed and his body dumped in Bonnie Lake in Whitman County late last year. She said that Schur was trying to protect her. Now, we talked to the Whitman County Sheriff Brett Myers today. He confirms the victim dated Schur off and on for several years, but cannot find any connection between his murder investigation and this trafficking case in Spokane.
Well, one of the 4 suspects in this case spoke to KXOY4's Annie Bishop from jail.
And it's an interview you'll only see on KXOY4 News. Annie, what did he have to say?
Christopher Foster, who was charged with human trafficking, flat out denying any involvement with this crime. He says he is innocent and that he is not guilty of human trafficking. Now, at times during our 20-minute interview, he became emotional as he chatted about what happened behind bars. Now, Foster says he first met the victim in December and that they were only friends. Foster is accused of driving the victim to several hotels where she would be forced to have sex. Detectives believe Foster and the other suspects used Backpage.com to set up the sexual encounters. When asked if Foster ever held anyone captive, he had this to say.
Is there accusations that...
Never in my life have I ever held anybody captive. Not once. And I'm not going to be charged with it.
Have you ever been involved?
And Foster says he lived in the house raided yesterday for only about a month. He denies any sort of drug activity at that home. He also denies seeing any other young women at the home, even though detectives and the victim have said that there were other young women in that home as well. Reporting live, Annie Bishop, KXLY4 HD News.
All right, Annie, thanks so much. And KXLY4 will stay on top of this human trafficking investigation. We'll bring you all the latest breaking information on our website, KXLY.com, our Facebook page, Twitter page, as well as our radio station, KXLY 920.